don't even know.
Go.
We're live now. And everyone's got like these little blue rings around their pictures because I copied it right out of Skype. So every time somebody talks, it like lights up blue. We are so ghetto tonight. I don't think we can get any worse.
No, Neuro's actually sitting on a cardboard box. That's pretty much
I don't know what's in this box, but it's holding my weight pretty well for right now. We'll see if I collapse and fall down at some point. That was cardboard failure.
Cardboard failure. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Do it live. Do it now. We're live.
What are we doing?
I guess
we'll fix it in post. Wait, we can't fix it in post. Well, we can, but
yeah. Okay, so real quick, let me put my headphones on. What ended up happening was the other day my motherboard decided to explode. I have it right here.
Killed 3 small squirrels.
It did kill 3 small squirrels. Well, there's your problem.
Well, no, they were running the hamster wheel that, because they're faster than hamsters. So you put squirrels in it. The problem is, never mind, go ahead.
Yes. So after you install a motherboard, you can't just use the same hard drive because you have all new stuff. You got a new North Bridge, South Bridge, all the other goodies that are on your motherboard. And if you just try to plug it in and have it work, it doesn't work. So because of that, I had to reinstall Windows. And when I reinstalled Windows, everything changed. So I unfortunately thought that XSplit, which is what I usually do my Into the Portal streams, that's all set up, would work, and it didn't. So that's why we're late, and why we're using OBS and using it on my channel. I threw this together in like seconds. So throughout the night, I'm going to sit here and just kind of edit it and do all that kind of fun stuff. So maybe some more features will show up as we go. So welcome, everybody. We have a full house tonight. Got myself, got Mr. Tobran, got Mr. Locke.
Hello.
Mr. Trendane, Mr. Stockus, and Mr. Legendary Neurotoxin.
Hey!
Hey!
The funds.
Hey! Yeah, Tobran's eating crisps now. He gave up on Jaffas.
I don't even have those anymore.
Oh, he ate up all the crisps.
Hearing an American say crisps is just...
You are gonna be as fat as me in no time, man.
We're trying to give him diabetes, and you were really working hard on it.
You shouldn't give that gift that keeps on giving because it's just not. It's not a good one.
It's not. You're right.
So looks like we've got about a 30 to 45 second lag time.
But at least it works.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, from what Locke was saying, we have about 4 or 5 hours worth of content to discuss.
At least. So we probably should get started. While we're starting,
so that's what I'm saying is go. I'll just sit here.
I'm going to try to keep working on getting it set up right. Would you guys mind starting or hosting?
Yeah.
You can do it.
So those 4 squares are the people you'll be listening to because he's busy and I got nothing. So
you got Trendane.
Go.
All right.
You got lots of Trendane.
The Landmark live stream came through, and there was a lot they had to talk about. First of all, the Gamer in Real Life GIRL, not girl, scholarship. And guys can apply too.
Yeah, they shouldn't have called it girl then,
Yeah, weird like that, right? But hey, if it's going to be catering to the female population, that's totally cool because the game industry is a lot like a men's club right now, unfortunately, and need more women.
Call it a sausage fest.
Sausage fest.
Don't you do it.
It's a house of sausage.
It is a burrito party. Anyway, another thing they've announced, EQN lore Ring of Scale is on its way. That's going to be something, it doesn't have any elves in it whatsoever. It's talking about dragons and dragon things and what dragons do. So it should be pretty interesting if you're interested in the non-elf and non-player character side of things. Though it might have some Ixar. So some O-nod for that. Other things they've announced. Chests. There are 2 types of chests in the game. You can put them on your claim after you've built them. You can store items on them. However, before you can pull up that chest, you have to take the items out of it. It's kind of annoying like that, I guess. But hey, that's how it works. Menus that reopen in the place where they were closed is a feature. Jeff Butler shows off how to do arches. There's a cylinder demo from Chris from EQ Nights that shows how to make a pretty good cylinder, which is awesome, but I think a lot of us would still prefer a cylinder shape tool at some point. 23 minutes and 30 seconds, Dave Georgeson does a really good zoom in on the camera.
The eyeball cam.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he uses the next 30 minutes to teach us all about microvoxels, which he apparently became a master of on a sick day off or something. So he's created a really gnarly geothermal plant using all sorts of microvoxels, making various different parts of the structure with it. It just looks amazing, and he gives a full-on like tutorial on how to do microvoxel work. So it's totally awesome, and if you really want to get good with building and putting in that fine detail, strongly recommend checking it out. I even had some play with the microvoxel stuff. I made an axe that Brass really liked. And they're also talking about some building contests that hopefully they'll be starting towards the end of the week here to make stuff that, for contests. They had a list of things like Viking ships and some other stuff, and they'll have the official list and the official details coming up at some point.
To answer your question, yes, this is a podcast. Normally it's a lot better than this, but tonight we had a meltdown, and I'm doing it like raw and on the fly. So sorry it looks so bad.
So pro.
Don't can you quickly mod Maker so she can control chat?
Oh yeah, sorry about that, Mika.
Let's go.
All right,
there is one thing though, lots and lots of bug fixes this week in patch as well. But they said they did mention next week is lots of new toys to play with, and I think it's what's coming next week is really going to change how the game is played at the moment, sort of at the fundamental level.
Yeah, well, they are coming with some new biomes. They're adding those caves. They're adding some stuff where there's actual, I believe, like discovery and going into the world and doing stuff. So it's not just going to be this, surface dwelling material collection sort of thing anymore. There's going to hopefully be a little bit more depth and a little bit more stuff going on. I'm not sure if it's going to be across all the islands or just the 12 new ones they're going to spin up.
I don't know. Did they say caves were coming in next week? I know a lot of the shared building and expanded claim stuff was coming in, but I'm not sure if caves were ready.
I don't know if they've officially confirmed caves. They've talked about it a lot.
When you say cave, you mean like a surface opening that people could explore, not going down into caverns or anything. You're talking about just an open-faced sort of deal. Because I've never seen anything about that.
Something that's slightly cavernous, think of Terraria or those kinds of games where you'll be going along the surface and you'll find an area where you can start kind of going down. You can go down for a little ways. It might stop and you might have to, mine a little bit further to find where it connects to another section, or just go back up and, not die.
It'll be the procedural nature of the underground areas, I think, is what they're referring to when they talk about caves and stuff. Obviously, they don't want it to be like a solid block of stone all the way down, because that's not that's not the most fun. But if you are tunneling through, hopefully we'll have larger open areas underground to kind of explore. And I don't know how much you played Minecraft, but it's quite a typical thing, like especially early on, you find a cave and go spelunking and get things that way that are just on the edges of the caves rather than, having to dig straight through, strip mine. Toby looks like he wants to get involved. You were looking like as soon as I said Minecraft, you were like, shut the hell up.
He's
From what I hear, they're not actually adding that in soon. If I'm hearing this correctly, it's going to be the new biomes that are being added, which is the snow biome and the new forest biome. What are your thoughts on the new biomes?
Excited as all hell. I'm probably going to pick my claim up and move.
Same here. I'm probably going to go for one of the foresty ones.
Actually, if they're adding in the new biomes, does that mean they're starting to separate what materials are in what biome?
I think they might be doing a little bit more of that and possibly adding more materials, which, of course they're going to have to add more for, the snow and the other stuff. So we're just going to have more material to work with in general. Some of it I think has already been added, and you can see those things in the dirt and stone and sand, but I think a lot of it still has to come because we don't even have snow as a voxel or some sort of a thing to work with at all right now. So once that starts coming through, we'll be able to see, what more materials we'll have to work with, and awesome stuff that'll be usable for building.
I think for me is what they've confirmed for next week. It's just the being able to do permissions on your claim properly to allow
So excited.
to allow communal building is that's a big deal. That's
So
a big deal.
let's pause right there for that real quick. We have all talked, except Trendane, who has his hat off now.
Keep going.
We have all talked since we first met Omid that one of the things we were going to do is all of us were going to get together and we were going to build a massive statue to Omid at some point. Now I have a claim right next to the Nexus on a flat piece of desert ground. Are we all going to get together? Because I've got the head already. A person who... Omid's using the head for his logo everywhere. That sculpted head of Omid. What's the person's name? Ellaby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ellaby has done that head. It looks awesome. So I've got that already. All we need to do is build the body part and just stick it on top. Are you guys down for that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
I don't know who Omid is, so I'm out.
All right.
You can make the Jaffa cakes. You can make the scotch.
Yeah. Scotch. I'm in
I've-
as soon as I can make lava come out of his eyes.
Well, we can at least put
Or down.
fire burning out of his
Yeah.
eyes for now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've got the magic ability to collect 250,000 stone in like 20 minutes. So that should hopefully help with the process.
That is pretty good. I don't know how you do that.
With my
Hacks.
awesome legendary
Yeah.
pick that makes the devs jealous.
Hacks.
Yeah.
They should also
So,
make a little voxel mead is crushing. The little voxel people. We could put little people on the bottom. Like all the children that he's standing on will be underneath his feet.
Now to really give a
Oh my
sense
God.
of scale when you're looking at it in the distance, just make the people like 8 voxels tall. So they're just these itty bitty little people. Just sense of scale becomes even more enormous.
We can stick claims together. We're not
Right.
even just limited to the size
Yes.
of one claim
Right.
anymore.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so that's actually the thing, and I don't know if anybody can, if we have any devs in the chat to confirm this one way or another. But what's going to be going on? Are we going to be getting, more claim flags with the new islands coming up? Are we going
Yes.
to be able to actually stick our claims together with?
They said we're getting
friends?
one more flag. Like
One
when-
more flag.
Yeah.
Cool. So we
More
don't have to up
importantly-
what we have.
More importantly, I'm going to be in on the statue project on one condition. Me, you guys, and everyone who's in chat at the moment is going to be in on this, right? So you
Okay.
got to keep it to yourselves.
Shh.
What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead with the statue as planned. We're going to build it. It's going to look exactly like Omid. It's going to be glorious. But we claim that it's a statue of Tobin Ernwood. No matter what happens, you have to say that's the statue of Tobin, and whoever says that's clearly Omid Doriani, senior brand manager for the EverQuest franchise, you go, no, that's Tobin Ernwood, podcaster, YouTuber, legendary Scotsman.
That works for me.
I like it. Let's roll with that.
It's too
I'm
good.
in.
All right.
Maka, please don't talk about your whole family stuff going on in chat. What's going on, Trendane? He's just shaking his head. Oh God! Have you guys seen Ellaby's next adventure, making a huge dragon? It fills up the entire claim from top to bottom.
It's
Cool.
huge.
It looks awesome.
I'm
Yes.
constantly surprised and it's totally unfathomable to me, like how people manage to create these kind of things. Did you see someone made like the compass out of from an aerial view, like on the map? They've laid it out and it's just perfect, like the
That's
whole
awesome.
logo and everything, and it's just like it's
Have you
beautiful.
well, they've been
And it's
showing.
still like it's still so basic as well, like what we've got. I just think
Right.
down
When
the
they-
line,
I'd
I always
like to
go on
see-
about the potential.
Microvoxels be used more, or like automatically being able to use microvoxels instead of having to tweak them.
Yeah.
But did you see
Actually-
that statue that they showed the other day with the ball in its hand, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got to show it on my stream today, and it's changed, and I don't know if Sony will now embrace it as much as they did before. Because now
What
it has
happened?
pierced nipples.
Yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah, great
Oh,
big pierced nipples.
hasn't it always had that though? Because I'm sure
I didn't
I'm
see
sure
him
the
before in this
photos that they
picture.
linked. Because it's the props, isn't it?
Yeah, it's those ring
iron,
props.
The
Yeah.
iron ring props. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went there to have a look the other
That's
day.
funny.
It's amazing, but
Really great job on that thing. I spent like 20 minutes today just walking around in awe, just looking at it.
pretty
So-
cool.
I grappled the boobs.
You did. You were hanging from one of the boobs for like 20 minutes.
They're saying it's funny. It's funny you should mention the microvoxel thing though, because from what they've sort of teased about the new smoothing tool and everything, it sounds like we're actually going to have more ability to do that kind of thing,
Right.
Instead of instead of just having the one thing where you like squidge it down, and then you have to kind of take off the end. It sounds like it's more of like a sanding thing, so we're going to be able to create like more shapes and actually down to just nothing.
They actually call it the sandpaper tool. So if you've got a flat surface and you keep wearing away at it, it'll eventually start kind of
Which
creasing
is what I was
in
hoping it could do, because, like if you're trying to smooth something out, it always went to a certain point and stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Dave Georgeson himself has confirmed that if you were to take a single voxel and use this new tool on it, you could wear it down to nothing and it would disappear. So it's not just modifying the voxel; it's actually
It'll actually delete voxels.
it'll delete them away and allow you to completely sculpt the surface. He said the ability to take a cube and physically use the tool to create a sphere just using the sanding tool.
Yes, Shadow Spawn, and you're just getting this now. Anyway, Cold Knight. Cold Knight is a hero of mine in the chat right now, because Cold Knight was the first person I saw do like a floating house, okay? And then he was the first person to show me some of the really cool things inside that you could do with building. And then he was also the very first person that I ever saw make a microvoxel.
Yep.
And
Same.
I don't know if they ever gave him credit or not. I don't know if he was the first person to come up with it, but all I know is Cold Knight is the man when it comes to figuring out nifty ways to build in this game. And if you guys ever get a chance to go see his claim, I don't know the exact location of it, sorry, but if you can put it in chat, Cold Knight, I'll mention it on the stream. Everyone's got to check out his claim, because he does some amazing things that are just like, what? How did he do that? And I always am in awe at his stuff.
Yeah, you have to go underneath his claim. He's got an excavation of a really cool thing. I'm not going to spoil it because you got to go and see it. But it's really cool.
It is really cool.
You should go there, Locke.
Trendane is mentioning
See
that
it.
if you guys have questions, please put them in brackets and just type in question in brackets, and then Maka, who is our moderator, will grab the questions up and put them into the chat for us. So
Yeah.
Liberation Basin. Oop, there it is.
there it is, Liberation Basin. Yeah, you get off the spire, just go northwest a little bit, you can't miss it.
Yeah, it's not very far at all.
Is that near Conjunction Junction?
Must be.
Conjunction, what's your
We know that the A system for sort of sharing and rating claims is coming soonish, don't we? Where was that on the roadmap? That was in the first. That was in the first phase.
It was next to Albuquerque.
Next
I
to
believe it was
Albuquerque.
in the face.
It was part of the social aspect, I'm pretty sure. Along with sharing claims and stuff like that. It was the ability to do that.
I'm just getting more and more aware, because we're on the last day of February now, aren't we?
Yeah.
And closed
Tomorrow's March.
beta on or before March 31st. I believe that's been changed to March 31st now.
Yeah,
But we've got 1 month, and
can't believe it.
there's a fair amount to pack in the next 4 weeks. So
Yeah. Yep.
I was I'm helping him meet out with his graphics for his YouTube channel or his Twitch channel, and he was telling me, I was trying to ask him questions like, "What do you want this moved over to the left or to the right or whatever?" And all day long I couldn't get him, because he says that all of them are in meetings non-stop because they're crunching next week so hardcore to get all this stuff out for us. So I think it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. I think over there.
Well, good for us.
Hands on deck over there, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Dan,
Well,
I'm actually not bald. I have hair. Although, I mean, just pulling my hat up, it does look like I don't have any hair, doesn't it? Anyway, I have hair.
I wear a hat because I often get, like, if I wear my headphones for too long, it just totally screws up my do.
Mhm.
So I
Oh.
wear a hat.
Did I fall asleep and miss part of the conversation?
It was in the chat.
They were asking why do so many Twitch streamers
It
wear
was
hats?
literally like we were talking about one thing, and then you started going, "Well, my hair's like
See?
this."
See, this is what the shock mount thing that we were talking about before the show. This is what I felt like. Okay.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, I mean, just on them crunching their stuff for these updates. I mean, they said in the live stream
you got real
that
quiet there.
Even though, am I too quiet? Am I?
Yeah, you got a little quiet.
Sorry, I'll turn it up. How's that?
Yeah, Tollbrand is bald.
Yeah,
Yes.
completely.
Yes. That's,
His entire body is bald.
Yeah, he had those are hair follicle replacements
It's actually Nico
from a Barbie
Texter.
doll.
He just
Yeah.
draws it on.
Somewhere, but I had a 13-hour shift today where I was wearing a hat for work. So
Just leave it like that, Locke. It looks great.
That's fantastic. But yeah, so even though they've promised things like claim add-ons and stuff, even now they're still, even though they've promised it literally in a week's time, they said one thing that they're having trouble with is they want you to be able to snap your additional claim onto every surface of your claim. So whether that be on any side
Up,
or
down.
on top or underneath it. But they said at the moment they're having major issues getting them on top and underneath, but they're hopefully going to get them finished in time.
That's the way it is
So
in
they're-
life with
they're-
most things.
They're really cramming it hard to get stuff going. And the update too.
Yeah.
You're sicking me.
So everybody, real quick, while we're sort of thinking about what to talk about next, I didn't even put any title. I didn't even put up any things tonight. Topics. Oh well, whatever.
Well, the next is going to be the business of EQNL.
All right, we'll get there in a second. So
Okay.
what's going on is we're on my channel because I had to try to get my computer working with the XSplit. Didn't work. It's been working for years, but for whatever reason after this installation, it doesn't work at all. It basically was like lagging really bad. It said I could stream at 300 DPI, which is or whatever. And so I decided to stream on my channel, and because I didn't have OBS set up, I had to do it on the fly. So that's why we're on my channel, and that's why it looks like crap tonight. But same show, different look.
Same
All right.
crap.
And Omid has shown up. There we go.
We've moved it from
Yay.
BBC One to BBC Four, but
Right.
it's the same show.
Same show.
Oh, that was a British reference.
It was.
Yeah.
Well
Yes.
done, Locke.
Yay.
That was a good one.
Welcome to the stream, Lock.
All right, so talk about the business of EverQuest, Mr.
All right. So the business of EverQuest Next Landmark was this document they've recently released, and I'm going to put the link in chat here so it's all nice and convenient and everybody can check it out. The first phase was founders packs and that sort of stuff. That's already done. That's cool. The second phase is getting in resources and character outfits. Now, what this means is not only will you be able to purchase the aesthetic outfits for your character and be able to mix and match some amount of aesthetics and stuff, regardless of what the actual equipment you have looks like. So how you look and what you're equipped with doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same stuff, which that's a really nice feature. I remember a lot of people in a lot of games would use a set of lesser gear because it looked a certain way. So instead people don't have to compromise in that way. They can be as effective as possible and look as pretty as they want. The other thing they talked about was resources and people being able to purchase resources with station cash. Now this isn't, they're saying it's not necessarily a pay-to-win situation because for one thing, players can trade with other players and get the resources that way, and that's not a station cash transaction. That's just somebody, having materials dumped on them by someone else. But the other thing is...
What's all that obsidian going to get you anyway?
Yeah, but
It's just a texture.
The reason why they're doing it is so that way people who are truly builders that don't want to spend any time like building and collecting things and or getting their equipment up and stuff, they just want to be able to play with voxels and make structures and sell pretty fancy things. Those people can buy those materials instead of having to fight for them and get to the building phase a lot quicker than if they actually did have to go through all the progression. There's probably going to be some amount of limitations. Obviously, you're not going to be able to buy your item recipes, so you would still be at the mercy of other players if you want to actually have equipment crafted with your purchased materials. And then you might not be able to purchase all the materials. Like you might only be able to get the standard materials and the elemental versions of metals, for example, you can't purchase, so you'd actually have to discover those. They haven't really laid all of that out, but that's definitely what they're looking to do in the second phase there, and that's still part of alpha.
Mm-hmm.
So, any thoughts on that, guys?
It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot to kind of. It's a lot to take in. There's some things that I really like you said, costumes is ideal. Especially if we move forward with Player Studio and support for third-party things. You know, like you look at the Dota 2 shop, what they do with outfits and everything, and especially for Landmark because it's kind of Western and sci-fi and historical and just anything. So it'd be great. More variety is always better with that. I don't like boosts. I don't like it. I think I read a great article recently about how Valve approach their free-to-play business model, and obviously they're in quite a sort of unique position with how they're sort of positioned in the market. But a lot of their premise behind the way that they do free-to-play is everything that you buy, you should still be happy about the purchase in a month's time. And whenever you spend money, the fact that you've spent money should also have a knock-on benefit to other people that you're playing with in the direct area. Like, so, for example, in Dota 2, when you go into a match with random people, everything that you've bought that's like cosmetic will become available to everyone else, like while you're in the match, which is a really nice touch while you group with people. That's and right. I think you get something like a boost, like a harvesting boost potion that you paid for. That's not fun, is it?
Well, I don't know.
Especially if you can just buy the resource straight out anyway.
Guild Wars 2 did that.
Yeah, and it's crap. No one buys them.
It's true, but they did it.
So
yeah, they did it, and it's no one likes it.
I guess probably learn from that business model one way or another. Either if it's not something people are doing, don't do it, or find a better way to do it, or if it is working, but it's just not happy for some players, find a way that it isn't upsetting to some players. It's something that I feel like I'm a little iffy on it myself, because I feel like being able to buy the resources before you can actually unlock them is kind of cheater status. Of course, people can trade the stuff to you, but I would say trading should be different than actually physically having the tool, harvesting the resource in the world, and being able to get it that way, because it's it can be set up in such a way that there's something in your account that isn't actually flagged until you've actually collected that material with a harvesting tool, and that sort of thing could be used as a limit. So you can only buy materials up to the certain tier, and that could be an artificial way to limit it, but I think it's still somebody's just gonna do like a 1, 2, 3 day race or whatever, try to get their account all the way up from nothing to build mode, and then be able to get to it just the same, be able to buy stuff just the same. But then the other thing I would worry about with that is somebody actually, it's starting to create a black market for accounts where somebody creates an account, builds it up real quickly, and then sells it to somebody, rather than people actually leveling up their accounts legitimately and that sort of thing.
It's a sticky wicket, isn't it?
It is. There's so many issues about it, so it's going to be a lot of discussion with the community before it can finally get finalized.
I just think stuff like that, on the one hand, I'm kind of like, I understand that people don't want their own achievements kind of cheapened by people just buying their way through, like spending the money. But at the same time, I think, it doesn't actually affect your play experience. Like them doing that, the fact that they've done it might irritate you. It might bother you. You might look at them and go, scrub, But ultimately, it doesn't stop you from doing anything that you want to do. Slightly different situation. The fact we're going to be selling things for money.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that's gonna have an effect. When people go in and they spend the money to like just scream up to the top and get to the point where they can just start building things and start putting stuff up on Player Studio. I think that might rustle some jimmies. But honestly, you got to think 5 years down the line, haven't you? In 5 years' time, is it really going to bother you if someone can just buy in gold in bulk because they want to make, they want to
Gold
make a
statue.
giant statue of Tobin Ernwood, podcaster, YouTuber, legendary Scotsman.
And that's something that Kodavos just said. Aren't these issues more relevant to EQN and not for Landmark?
No, they're just as relevant for. I'd say they're actually more relevant for Landmark because EQN itself isn't going to be a building tool.
No, but I mean, does it really matter ultimately that somebody has maybe burled wood? Okay, so that definitely is a rare resource, and maybe rubies. But anything else, like rock, if they don't want to spend 6 hours digging up rock, then what does it really hurt you as another gamer?
It's so
I'm playing devil's
incidental
advocate, by
anyway,
the
isn't
way,
it?
right?
Like they've said.
Yeah.
They've said as well, like when the game actually goes live, the volume of things that we'll need to craft tools and stuff will be very, very low. Like we'll only really need to be gathering resources
A couple of hours, maybe.
to build. So I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've got so much crap.
Me too. So
what I mean?
much
But
crap.
I think it's like
Nope.
one other really big point that I want to get out about free-to-play games and like buying items and stuff on the cash shop as well is I personally believe that absolutely everything should be tradable in-game that you buy. If you buy it with real money, you should be able to give it to someone else in the game, whether you trade it with that person or whether you sell it to that person for in-game currency. I think that should be a thing. And I know there's caveats to it and there's ways that it has to be done, but like I think that needs to be a thing, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
good discussion. I mean, we could keep on probably discuss this for another 2 hours, but I think
Well, let's. No, just kidding.
I could. I'm sure I could, but
It's such a big thing though. It's gonna
is.
have a massive effect on the way that the game is played, and I think it really is one of those things that we're in alpha. We're there for a reason. We want to affect the development of the game, and things like this are going to have a huge knock-on effect as the game goes forward. If we say we really want something and there's something that we really want to spend money on, then chances are it'll be in the game pretty early on.
Well, even outside of gameplay, it's just the business model itself will be a point of contention for a lot of players because they might see how it's written down on paper, not knowing how it actually functions in the world, and say, "Oh no, bro, I'm not going to do that. That's pay to win." And that they might actually be valid saying that, even though what the person is winning is the ability to make their own custom D&D campaign and their own claim. It's because there aren't the same kind of defined goals for Landmark as there are for other things, other than for people who are trying to make money with Player Studio. And that's one goal, but that isn't everybody's goal.
Thing is, even that though, I personally, I could spend all the money I wanted on the shop. I could buy every single thing in the game. I could go in there day one, buy all the tools, all the materials, all the resources, and whatever I build, no one's gonna buy it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not very good. I probably couldn't build anything that anyone else would actually want to buy. So it doesn't even if I spent. I spent my entire life savings in the game. I'd never get anything back from it. So, does that mean I win? Whereas, someone who's just big into sculpting and stuff, could make something really cool one afternoon, and it could take off. Who knows as well what's going to become mimetic within the game. Someone's going to build something and put it up on the Player Studio for $1. And someone like a popular streamer like Domo's, going to see it on the stream and go, "Oh, that's brilliant! I'll buy one of them." And then before you know it, the 100 people watching him all go out and buy it because it's funny, and then they've all got them. And then because people keep seeing them, people keep buying them. It's just a silly thing. So who knows?
Some sort of genius university professor doing some sort of art or economics class could totally do a project where every student in the class has to make something in Landmark, put it on Player Studio, and try to make money, and just every semester after semester you're going to get some good stuff. I think that actually be really funny. It's totally something that could happen.
I would fail that class.
Marketing is going to be a huge part.
I would fail that class. So
Yeah.
I'd be like, here. And they're like, is that a motorcycle? No, it's a tiger. You know, it's like a motorcycle.
A tiger cycle.
It's a tiger cycle.
And then you win the class.
And then it's like Voltron, and I can't sell it on the Player Studio.
Front half
I
tiger,
would buy Voltron.
back half motorcycle. Put that as a mount on the Player Studio. People will buy that.
I saw somebody who had their motorcycle done up like a big buffalo. And
Yeah.
it had buffalo fur and horns all over. And I was like, that's kind of cool. But
Omid says, one of the biggest arguments I saw for selling resources is watching streams the first weekend. Someone was building something, ran out of iron, had to completely disrupt their building, go find iron. But
Okay, I have a solution for that. It might not be what everybody would enjoy, but you would choose the type of iron material that you want, and while you're putting it down, it would be like some sort of a temporary placeholder sort of voxel. It's free to use as many as you want. You would put it down. Nobody could see it until you actually fill it in with iron, but you can still put all the iron everywhere you want, and then when you're done building, you can see what it looks like when in build mode. When you're out of build mode, the iron's not there. You go out in the world, collect all the iron you need, you come back, and then you just fill it in. You tell to fill in all of the places where that
flood
voxel was
fill,
put
iron.
Yeah, however it needs to do. There might be some sort of interface to do that, but
I think we discussed
In-
this
in
on one of
terms
the
of
earlier
like-
shows
possibly.
might have, yeah.
with the blueprints.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think in terms of like what that means, like buying resources goes though, if you're there and you're like, oh crap, I need iron, and you can just go into your inventory and like, in the collectibles tab, if you could just right click iron and on the drop down it says buy iron and you can use your station cash. Who cares? If someone wants to do that, then fine. Doesn't affect me.
What do you think?
On the other hand, I'd like it if you could trade with players easily and get it off other players for in-game currency as well. And I'd like it if someone could buy iron off the thing off the store for real money, and then they'd have loads of iron, and then they could sell it for in-game money if that's what they wanted to do. I think that'd be good too.
It would be.
But here's the thing.
The one thing there was one thing that really annoyed me though. I want to get to it. It was we're still going on about this. We said 2 hours we were going to talk about this topic.
I said 5.
It's been
but
about
okay.
5. Go on, Tran. Stay strong. You can do this. I believe in you. It was this is the thing. It's the idea. It sounded like part of what they were saying was like as you go through like menus of things, it'd be like there'd be like an extra tab on the menu that said like buy with station cash, like on the end of it. Is that do you guys know the bit that I'm talking about? I've kind of forgotten exactly what it was they were talking, but I don't like the idea of anything to do with that sort of being part of the regular UI. I wouldn't mind it. This is actually, I've been waiting for this because this is something that Guild Wars 2 got right. And I'm so glad, we finally got to the point where I can say something good about Guild Wars 2 because the way that they did their shop, there was a hotkey for it. You could open it up and like everything was in there. It was really nice, like UI design, interface was good. It worked well most of the time. It was great. The whole like gem exchange thing was brilliant. But then when you closed that window and it went away, you never saw it.
And you can open it from anywhere.
Never. You can open it anywhere. You can buy stuff from anywhere. You can do anything, but you have to hit that hotkey or click the menu thing. And if you didn't choose to open it and if you didn't choose to look at it or engage with it, then they never bothered you with it. It might you might as well have not been there and you just totally forget about it. And I really don't like in other free-to-play games when there's just like little buttons everywhere and little reminders of like, oh, spend this money, and that I don't like.
While we're on that subject, I do not want to see at all ever one in-game reminder. Hey, you could be a gold member. You could be a SOE All Access member. Subscribe now. I don't want to. I do not. It would be very disappointing. I would make some very agitated voxel-based art pieces. There might be some amount of vandalism that would occur as well. It would all be voxel based, but it would be very
Voxel vandalism.
You would understand the intent.
Mhm.
Like
That's
I would build a
that's it,
window
isn't it? I
just
mean,
to smash it.
yeah. Most people will never. Most people that download the game will never spend money on it. That has to be a given. You know, I mean,
That's
I know
true.
that
That's
I
true.
personally will probably be. You know, I will probably have that gold membership. You know, I'll probably be subscribed. I'll probably get my thing. I'll probably get outfits. I'll probably buy stuff off Player Studio. You know, partly because I want it and partly because I want to support the game. I've done it with other games that I've liked when I didn't have to. You know, you buy some cool tat off the shop. You know, run around like an idiot, but most people won't. And I think the fact that most people will go into the game with no intention of ever spending money whatsoever, from that perspective, it annoys me, and I'm happy to spend money, and I will, and I already have, and I will spend more money. And it annoys me. So I wonder from those players' perspective, like how much it'll annoy them if it's always in their face.
I
Maybe
think
someone,
a lot of
maybe
this
someone
actually
can
comes from bargain bin games. Okay, so what the bargain bin games did was take, you bought a game at the store, you didn't like it, whatever, you took it back, you sold it at GameStop. So then that game now lost its value because now nobody's going to pay the real price for it, and of course the main company never got that money back. So it's turned this whole industry into making things cheaper and cheaper. So we've kind of done it to ourselves. You know, we've all wanted cheaper and cheaper games, and so now they're making games for free, but then they have to make just their money on the back end. They've got to figure out some other way to get a revenue source coming in to help augment it. And pretty much every game you find now that's on Facebook, you can't find a game on Facebook really that you can play that doesn't have some sort of limit to where you can play for a while, but you're going to get to a point where there is no way to go any farther. Like you actually have to spend some money now.
and that's bullshit, and it's awful. But
It is,
I
right?
think there's a lot of free to play games. Like Valve, the way that Valve go about it.
Dota.
I think SOE are definitely getting there. With games that have been built to be free to play. I think that they've done very well with the model there. Obviously, the iOS games that's all just horrible. Like the Dungeon Keeper iOS thing was total bullshit. But then you look at other games like Path of Exile and Loadout,
Yeah, Path of
where
Exile's a
people just
great
release these amazing games, and then you go into it and it's like, do I have to pay for this?
I know. I love Path of Exile. I'll
awesome,
play
mate.
that one for hours. Yeah.
Which is great.
Another,
It's obviously it's a risk, but I think ultimately free to play is a consumer friendly model. But obviously those iOS games are just totally preying on the whole Skinner box thing, and they just want you to keep the cookie clicker. They just want you to keep clicking, keep clicking. That's why the whole burled wood thing, when people complained when they lowered the amount of burled wood that you needed, it's like, how conditioned are you?
We're all getting that way. We're all expecting the other shoe to drop. We're going, wait a second. There's something behind this, right?
I played World of Warcraft for 6 years. I know exactly how it is to be, just fucking chasing the dragon in an MMO, just like on that treadmill, just going.
Nope, you just got to find a point and quit. For me, it was doing one full year of Molten Core full runs and all the runs before it to get to that point. Not one time ever did Biznix Accuroscope drop. That was the only thing I wanted. I had every No Mission Goblin engineering schematic. That was the only thing I didn't drop. We were pretty much done with it and moved on to Encourage. So I quit. I said, screw it. You're not getting my money for this expansion. You're certainly getting my $15 a month anymore. I'm out of here. And pretty much since then, I swore off subscription MMOs. One other SOE original, speaking of subscription MMOs, that really must not happen is putting looping TV ads in the game. PlanetSide 1 had that for a little bit. I think it was while they had the things where you could be Battle Rank 6 for free on a new account or whatever. And it was terrible because the commercial was just the one commercial. It kept looping super loud. You couldn't mute it. It was in the dropship station, so you couldn't get away from it. And it was just they were always just horrible commercials, like the worst, most depressing, horrible stuff. And it's like, whoever thought that was a good idea, they were wrong. They were dead wrong. So, like, if I log into a game and I'm hearing this commercial about somebody who's, trying to pick up their life after they just got out of rehab, I'm probably going to quit that game. I'm probably just going to uninstall unless I've been seeing someone successfully streaming it. If that's my new player experience, I'm out.
Are you addicted to Jaffa Cakes? Call this number now. Yes, Toblerone, that is you.
1-800
Call this number
Jaffa
now.
Cake.
You've moved on to the Jaffa Muffin. Stop.
There's still more.
Oh God. He doesn't even have Jaffas today. He's got the Christmas.
We kind of skipped you, Tobren. We were talking about the resources and purchasing of resources and stuff, and we unfortunately cut you off. Do you still remember what you wanted to say? And
Yeah.
All right. What you got?
We're also right. Okay, I know we're talking about buying resources at the moment. Let's just think about it. When was the last time we talked about trading? Just trading between us. Like, when is this ever advertised? When do we ever see this? I mean, it's just something there. If you don't know about it, it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that maybe just a way to say, oh, conveniently buy it? You don't need to trade. Because I've not seen like people like say in chat, oh, I'll swap 100 Worldwood for 200 iron ore. I've not seen any of that at all, and we have a full in-play system.
Oh, you got a commercial.
Why is it not being used?
Do you think? I don't know, I'm not sure if is there really a reason to trade anything at the moment?
I've probably traded at least
Really,
a million voxels so far.
Yeah. No,
No joke.
I'd trade because if there was someone looking for Worldwood, which I had use the past tense because it's all gone now. If I had what I had and I had enough of it and I needed some elemental rubicite, but someone was willing to trade for a couple of 100 World logs, I would happily trade it.
I don't think there's any kind of conspiracy to stop people from from, to other players for things.
Not conspiracy as such, but I just don't see it being used.
Oh,
no,
that's definitely.
That's what I mean. I don't think
using it.
The game's just not social enough yet. Part of trading is the social and communication aspects. We don't have a trade channel. We don't have all the means and mechanisms. You have to be all like weird nipple to nipple, and then finally find the right corner where you can click on the person. Because the interface for it, you have to be interface them like a prop almost. But the selection point's in a really weird place, so you have to get all up close and kind of hover the mouse around and finally find where you can right click. I can't remember. I think we used nipple to nipple on the previous show, or like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm just sticking with that. But that's it's really kind of limited right now in just what you can do to communicate with people and access other people. All the people that I've traded with are pretty much people I've known from live streams.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's the where I see the most amount of any sort of. I really wouldn't even call it trading. I mean, we're giving stuff away to people, but at the same time, people come up to Domo because he's got, I'm making this wonderful castle, but I'm running out of dirt. All of a sudden, 50 people take the dirt, take the dirt, and then Domo's like, oh, here, picks, take picks. Here, take some gust rings, take some. Axes. Take all the stuff.
It's what you hope. It's what you hope's going to happen when guilds become a thing. When social systems really are. When we start putting plots together. I'm hoping that I've said it before. I'm sure I'll say it again. You get those large groups of people, and it does become the case of all right, we're working on this today. We need this, this, and this.
I have some amazing people that hang out, and I don't even ask sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just like working away at it, and people just all of a sudden run up and go, hey, you need this next. Like, I do? Yes, you're going to be building this thing up there. I need this. Oh, thanks. So, nice. Special shout out to all the people that are on my stream regularly because you guys are really amazing. And I give away stuff on the weekends. We're doing another giveaway tomorrow. And 99.9% of everything I give away is stuff that people gave to me. I mean, I do make axes and picks myself, but I maybe make one. And I usually give away like 30. Because it's just the community that's helpful, and it's almost like utopian, right? Because I think part of the thing that's going on here, and this is bigger than just me talking about my stuff, but what's really going on here is that we are all going to lose everything. So why not give it away? Like, there's no reason to keep it. We're going to have a wipe at some point. What's that?
That is an interesting point. When we do start to lose it, and when more things are introduced, we don't have scarcity yet. Mm-hmm. We were saying at the moment, it's very easy to get stuff. It's very easy to make stuff. Might as well give it away. People giving stuff. I'm wondering, how that's going to change as as there's danger, as you can't just jump off a mountain and roll down the side and find a seam of rubicite just sat at the bottom, with no one to nothing to stop you from getting it, when it's half a mile under the ground. The ground's filled with nasties. I'm wondering what value people are going to attach to that.
I think I think you're right with that.
Thanks, Stackus. I'm glad I have your support.
I was just gonna agree with your point about the scarcity problem. That you're right. We've got everything so easy, come and go. Everything is just there and ready for you to take. But the minute something's harder to get, and then all of a sudden the trading might play into it a lot more.
And we have no currency either right now.
No, but we will, because we're going to need to do upkeep
talking broad
somehow.
wood.
Sorry, look, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's absolutely fine.
That's okay. We cut each other off. If you don't speak up in this show, you're not going to get to talk.
Please continue.
There is. I hope that then it becomes. We talk about social systems all the time, but there will be. What's happening?
Everyone in the audience could hear that there was just a Mario Brothers sound. That's when someone follows me. It sounds like a coin going ka-ting. Remember the coin?
Yay!
Yay! Thank you.
Oh,
Right, go ahead.
There is, we talk about social systems and stuff, and something I'm hoping, as I've said before, not very good at building. I'm not really that kind of guy. And after I build my box in Minecraft, I usually go off and do other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that there's a place for me as someone who is quite good at fighting stuff and does quite like going through caves and adventuring with a few other people to try and push the limit and do something that's difficult to do and find new experiences and maybe even some PvP.
You love PvP, Locke. You love it.
You know what
As much as
PvP
you
is
love
going to
Reddit.
be?
I think honestly, it's necessary in a sandbox game. I don't
To
see
be
how.
murdered while working on your claim. Sitting there, you're whacking away at your sculpture, carving out the boobs. Hey, thanks, Felgon SOE.
We had people like that in California in the 1800s that would just sneak up on people while they're trying to work their claim and just stab them in the back of the head.
I am shocked by the lack of vision from the Into the Portal podcast hosts that you think the only way to go about PvP in a game like this is to just have completely open free for all players.
I said nothing. I said
boring.
I was saying
we can do better. We can do so
You
much
could do better.
We can do anything. This is a new game.
Thanks,
This is a
Headroller.
new MMO. The whole thing is based around us like being able to build things together. And as soon
And
as
what
I
about
say
being
PvP,
murdered?
everyone's just like, oh, but if you use the Ultima Online system, the 15-year-old system that has been totally dropped by the industry
16.
and everyone hates.
No.
Like,
Poor.
is it 16?
Yeah.
So-
people's minds immediately go to that. It's like, come on, we can do anything.
like I've said in the past, you get 700 people together on the Forge Light engine, and I'm one of them. Someone's got to die, so there's going to have to be PvP at some
You're
point.
just upset right now. You're attacking the ground and trees because you're like, damn it.
Dude,
I
I
just,
go
you know,
all the way
show
under
up
the
there.
world and attack the underworld with dynamite. I brought 50 strong. I live streamed it. It was awesome. You should check it out sometime. That was last
There
week.
are times running around Landmark where I'm like, this is great and everything, but can I kill something now?
It's
I'm
coming.
just that type of player. And I understand. Obviously, everyone has different play styles. Everyone has different.
I think that's what Trendane's waiting for, is waiting for the ability to get in there and actually kill things. Right? No. Quests.
But that's why I'm talking about the social structure. Different people want different things.
Oh, yeah.
Traditionally, people that want different things have been separated off into their little communities, and it's like, okay, you guys like this, so you go in this little box, and you guys like this, so you go in this slightly bigger box, and never the twain shall meet. And I'm saying, what if within the sandbox system that has been shown it can work and it's been successful before in other very successful sandbox games like EVE Online, you can have those systems working together and have the people that enjoy doing different things being interdependent with each other and like actually working together as part of a community rather than just being segregated. And I think it's a shame I think it's a real shame that everyone thinks that we have to be separated in this way. We talk constantly about all these social things, and we want to get back to the game where you have to talk to each other and you have to do things together, and you need different classes who can do different things. And oh, wasn't it great when we're all together and great? Oh no, but I don't want to play with those people.
Yeah.
Why
I
why
know
can't we
it's-
find a way so we can fit together? Not necessarily, have to hop over the fence into each other's gardens, but at least have a chat over the fence. Hey, have you got a cup of sugar? There you go, neighbor.
And then get stabbed right in the eye.
No. It's gonna be
Poison
like
sugar.
DayZ. You just spend 20 minutes finding your buddy, and then you hit him with an axe, and he's dead.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
I've accidentally axed somebody in DayZ several
So-
times.
Tell us all about it.
That
So
is
Tell us all about it,
literally-
Taylor.
let's leave that story for another time because we've got 45 minutes left, plus or minus any extra swap over
And
time.
650 questions, yes.
Yeah, we still haven't even gotten through the business. We have the round table, so let's continue on.
We can
So-
ramble. We're like Zeppelin, rambling on.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So
Hey, Nick, thanks for following.
Hey.
And,
so
and
we-
you hold up, pause for a second. You
Yep.
guys who are regular followers that are unfollowing and following me just to hear that sound, you're bad. Knock it off. Because now the stream sounds like I'm playing Mario Brothers. I need a dun 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 dun, and then a ding ding. Okay.
I wonder if it'll happen more or less now that you've said that. Let's find
Probably
out.
more. This is a social experiment.
yeah,
Ta-ding,
Twitch,
ta-ding.
Twitch plays Geekdomo.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Locke. Do your eyeball. Do it.
I'm not a performing monkey.
All right.
Good
Thoughts-
answer.
I have thoughts and feelings.
Sorry.
Good
I'm a
answer.
man.
All right. Phase 3 of the business. This is also an alpha. Time shortcut, bit like being able to buy potion effects instead of having to make the potion, carry the potion, and consume it when you actually need it. They're also talking about stuff related to maintaining your upkeep without necessarily having to go and throw upkeep at your actual claim and market
6 people
market
just.
stall. So that's what they're looking to do in phase 3 is things that make it so it takes you less time to do the thing that you're trying to do. And again, we could probably go on for a few hours about this. Let's try not to this time. But it's one of those things where why would I want somebody to get spend $1 or $2 to have an awesome super potion elixir ale of drunken mining rage that allows them to just tear through the world like they're a pulverizer with their pick. Dual wield, they grow two more arms, and they're quad wielding, just ripping through the world. Why would I want people to be able to drink this potion effect by spending money rather than having to spend exorbitant amounts of diamond to acquire one from me? So that's basically where I'm at with it. Is if we're gonna have the things, potions, why make it that you can just buy the potion effect instead of actually having to engage in commerce and acquire one of these potions from one of the players?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that it's important to have everything bought off the shop tradable, because then it all functions within the game economy
I
itself.
like this whole
do.
BOP or non-BOE BOP stuff. Like, you can make anything in this game and just give it to somebody.
Yeah, I think in a game like this, this is probably the way to go. Because that's just a product of the way that gear works in a game. There's no reason why things have to be BOP or BOE, other than the fact that the whole point of the game is to get the thing. Like once you've got the thing, then there's you're off the treadmill. So the game wants to keep you on the treadmill, so they can't have people trading the gears. But in a game like this, where there's no real treadmill to speak of. I mean, obviously there's progression, there's things to get, there's things to go after, but there's no like specific direction to go in. So hopefully that means that people are gonna go in a lot of different directions, and people are gonna want a lot of different things. Hopefully there's not just going to be one optimal path that everyone will go down. I'm sure the community will get together and decide which are the optimal paths, and that'll obviously happen. But I'm hoping that there's enough variety so we don't need to go down the bind on equip or bind on pickup route. As far as what Reese was saying about people having the potions and things, I think the fact of them not having to engage within the player economy in the game and just buying it straight off the shop, I do see the issue there. I think that could potentially take away something from the game, and I think that'd be a shame. I think that'd be a real shame.
And it's really nice that I can give things to other people that I'm no longer using, because say I've I've gone from a Cobalt pick to now a Ruby pick, or an Indigo pick. Being able to give somebody my pretty decent Cobalt pick is really nice.
Yeah.
So I think keep that in the game. I don't think they should ever get rid of something like that. What are your thoughts, Trendane, on that? I sort of caught him off guard.
It has been 2 weeks since I've paid
I know. But I was just thinking,
anything to do with this game.
what is your thoughts on BOE and BOP? Because you played World of Warcraft a bunch. So
this is not World of Warcraft.
I know, but
Georgeson said we should do something completely different, and if anybody's going to do it, it should be EverQuest. Why the hell would you model it after WoW?
That's true. Yeah, I'm not saying they have to model it after a while, but
do it differently.
Yeah.
Find something new and do it that way.
All right.
Yeah, there's no reason why BOP and BOE has to exist in a game like this. So I imagine it won't be in the game, and I'd be confused if it was. Yeah. I'd wonder why it was necessary, unless like it works within a kind of. It's like an item sink, isn't it? We're talking about giving people your cast-offs and your hand-me-downs. Like eventually, how flooded is the market going to be with those items, and how painfully useless are they going to become? So
that's part of the reason why it's happening in alpha, because then we'll actually be able to give them feedback and help them eliminate the stuff that's really going to be useless or annoying or just taking up space and not doing anything for anybody. Now that's the thing, is that founders packs, the resources and the resource purchasing and character outfits and the time shortcuts and stuff, that's all stuff that's going on in the next month. That's all projected for alpha. We haven't even touched closed beta. Early closed beta is when Player Studio comes through, and then late closed beta is when the things they call the big ticket items actually come through. Music on your claims, pets, name and gender changes, extra claim flags, all that sort of stuff.
I don't like that one. The name and gender change
Why?
for real money is bullshit.
It should be a feature or something unlockable.
You should be ashamed for letting it get that far to go into the.
If you're a human and you need to change your gender, it costs money, Locke.
I hate it. This isn't the real world. It's a game.
Some countries do it for free.
No reason. SOE has put no extra effort, no extra resources into creating those systems. Those are systems that have to exist anyway. It's completely automated. It's bullshit. There is no reason to charge a person for wanting to change their name or their gender on their toon.
But what if
Trending? Go ahead.
What if what they're basically buying is the sound effect and the emote of going boom?
That's worth it.
Buying emotes I'm in favor of. Buying sound
Dances.
effects characters under the same umbrella as that, I'd be totally in favor of. So
or just let us craft the girdle of gender changing, and from D&D Second Edition.
I remember that,
and that'll be that. Yeah,
so,
I found it once.
It's always annoyed me, and I know it's a free-to-play game, and they need to find ways to make money where they can. But it's always irritated me, even from going all the way back to my first World of Warcraft character, when I realized that how much does it cost to change server? Or
$25 per character.
What a racket!
It's a huge racket, man. Huge racket. I remember one time all my friends talked me into switching servers with 10 characters. It was $250.
What?
And then on Guild
They're
Wars
your
2,
friends.
on Guild Wars 2, you could do it for what, $1.50, something like that. And that was all characters. That was all your characters.
Do on Guild Wars 2 either.
Oh my god! Somebody just made a character named Mario Ding, and they just followed me.
Nice,
Sweet.
sweet.
Rat bastards.
Now they're going to set up a script that just follows you and unfollows you and follows you and unfollows you and follows you and unfollows you anytime this channel's active.
Yeah. Do that with 1,000 accounts though. Don't keep using the same one.
So I might have Locke a little confused. I might not be under. So what you're actually fighting for is you're fighting for Tobrand's ability to finally have a beard, just not having to have to pay for it. Is that right?
Oh.
I like how I get used in every example.
I didn't.
Right.
No, I didn't.
It's because we're jealous of Tobin.
It's
He is
Clearly.
the number one Scotsman.
he is.
No,
He's a
it's
tall golden man.
Yeah.
He's a tall golden man.
He came in first place over Mel Gibson.
Definitely.
Number one.
Scotland's best
Scotsman.
bare ass.
Yeah, but Shadowspawn just brought up a great point that server swapping is complete crap. That's one of the things that Landmark has beaten. All the servers are connected. You can go anybody's server anytime. Imagine if somebody wanted to show me their claim right now.
Yeah.
And I had to
I think
pay
Ben-
money to go over and look at it. I'd be like, sorry.
Yeah.
You couldn't
Honestly,
do it.
it was actually something I really wanted for PlanetSide 2 and campaigned for a while, but it was, obviously shut down, the idea. I actually wanted just to have to make, maybe we only get 3 characters on the account, that's fine, but you make, the character once and you can play on any server with it. People were saying, oh no, but that ruins communities and you're never playing with the same people, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, people will actually make their own communities on their server.
Yeah.
There will be server pride. That sort of stuff does happen. And for people that want to just, mess around, maybe they want to see what it's like on the other East Coast server. Maybe they want to see what it's like on the other European server. Maybe they've been playing on the Australian server this entire time. They want to go play over on the West Coast server to get more players, or at a different time when there's actually players on playing. That, it would have made a lot more sense in my opinion, because the names are not server specific, but they're common across all the servers, shared across all the servers. You make the character named XYZ once, nobody ever anywhere can make a character name XYZ. You've got that character name no matter what server you are. You're XYZ, and that's who you are. Everybody knows it. So the fact that Landmark got it right with this one, I'm really appreciative of, and I hope they continue with it with EverQuest next as well, because it's just a great way to do it.
It is a great way to do it.
That community argument is it's such a fallacious thing as well, where people say, oh, but if people can move around, there'll be no community because there'll be
It's
no
such a what?
loyalty.
Fellatio
It's
thing.
such a fallacious thing, Trinde.
You can't use that word.
Can we move on?
Please.
Fallacious.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it's like the multi-guilding thing. You remember when that came out and people were like, but if people can be in different guilds, they'll just move around guilds and there won't be any loyalty. And then you go, wait, so if they're only in one guild, that means they have to be loyal because they don't have any option. And then they go, well, no, they can leave.
But they didn't work
Well,
out in Guild Wars 2.
I mean,
What is
Guild Wars-
the difference?
But Guild Wars 2 was a flop because of the guild swapping. I mean, seriously, there was no loyalty, and you could go in. What?
Don't.
No.
You think that the guild, the
okay,
multi-guild
number one.
thing in Guild Wars 2 is good?
Yes.
No. I think
Yes,
it was-
I'm
I
going
think
to
it was
argue
rubbish.
this one. All right,
I
okay.
think it
I
was
was in
rubbish.
3 different guilds.
Yes.
One was my PvP guild. One was my World vs. World guild, and one was my social guild. I was in my social guild most of the time. I wanted to do some World vs. World. I would just jump in there and be like, hey, who wants to group up and go somewhere? And I would always be grouping with those kind of same people. I would get to know these people and be with them more. And it'd be the same thing when I jumped into PvP. I'd be like, oh, hey, who wants to do PvP? And then when I'm doing other stuff, I'd just jump back into my social guild and be like, hey. I go back to the random conversation.
okay,
That's
so
number one.
actually linking
Number one,
back
Guild
to
Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is a very successful MMO. It's not a flop. Number one. Number two, the guild system in Guild Wars 2 is bad, but not because you can join multiple guilds. You can join multiple guilds, but it's pointless because there's no back and forth between those guilds. So you're like there's no kind of social mixing between them. Like just being able to join multiple guilds. Like what if like in a traditional MMO, are you telling me you never had an alt character that was in a different guild to your main character?
Not usually. I did it a couple of times on WoW, but it was pretty rare.
Okay, so you did it a couple of times, but not very often.
Right.
That's fine. What if like how does it affect you as an individual if you choose to just join one guild? How does it affect you if someone else chooses to join multiple guilds?
It always seemed to me to be kind of a lack of loyalty. It really did.
But that is exactly the fallacious notion.
so
If someone has an option to leave, but they don't, that's loyalty. if someone doesn't have an option, if someone's just trapped in a guild and they feel like they can't leave, that's not loyalty. That's just being afraid of leaving and not being able to find anything else.
Like
If you have
putting in,
multiple guilds, that gives more opportunity for loyalty.
an example of that is like if you're using a raid point system, you've built up 6 months of raid points, and then the new content finally comes out, and it's like, well, if I leave this guild, then I lose all those raid points.
Well, that's what
and,
WoW
you
did.
know,
They developed that whole system so where when you were in a guild, you stayed there longer, you ended up getting more points so that you could buy things at the store and stuff.
But to me, that's not loyalty.
Yeah, that's a
Guild
forced
Wars
loyalty. I was agreeing. That's a forced. Now here's the thing. Now that was my experience with WoW. Is I had a problem with that. I had one guild that I did all of my PvP with, and I would have loved to do some raiding with. There's another one that I did most of my raiding with, and some amount of PvP. They were both groups from outfits I was rolling with in Planet Side 1. One of them I was an officer in PS1. The other I was an officer in World of Warcraft. So I was, basically rolling with both and working with both of them. But unfortunately, I could only interact with one. And because, there's various stipulations with having somebody from a different guild running with your raid group and, getting some of the loot, I ended up never really going with them on any of the raids. Now, here's the thing where it would have been beneficial for Blizzard is if I actually was able to run with them. They saw the Biznix Accuroscope schematic all the time. I would have
You're
gotten
still
it.
on about that thing.
I probably would have stayed playing. I would probably actually continued playing the game had I been able
You
to get
stole my
one.
cloud song. Stockus, what do you think?
That's the thing, though, is that people always say, oh well, it's all about loyalty, and then you go, well, what if someone wants to join another guild, and then they go, well, they can just leave the guild and join the other guild, and it's like, well, why not just let them go and play with the other guild and then see if they come back to you?
I don't know.
Which is loyalty?
Well,
It's that word. It's like, okay, you might keep more people, you might also lose more people. If you
can't
have
serve
that
two
thing where you
masters,
can only
Locke.
have one guild. What's that?
You can't serve two masters.
well, okay, but here's going now. I wrote
I'm not talking about the
Serve two masters.
You never heard that phrase before? It's in the Bible.
the
You're a very Christian religious person.
you know.
Yeah.
my group organizations
Do
and
you not
guilds
have two
documents.
groups of friends? Like, what does that even mean? Serve two masters. I do different things with different people all the time. Like when I go to work, I work with chefs. I work in a kitchen and I work with chefs. If I'm going to play basketball, I play basketball with other people that play basketball. If I'm playing an MMO, I play an MMO with other people that play MMOs. And sometimes there's blending there. Some people cross over in and backwards and forwards into those different groups, like social circles tend to do. I don't just say I am only ever going to interact with chefs and that is it. You know what I mean? And then, I'm at work and I go, Tony, Sam, come on, we're going to play basketball. And they're like, Tony's like, I've only got one leg. And Sam's like, I have asthma.
But what about
Okay.
what about if you're a chef with a certain restaurant, but then all of a sudden you go off and start chefing for another restaurant, and the owner of that restaurant doesn't like you chefing for two different restaurants at the same time? I think that's more the idea. Not that you can't be with different
Signed
people.
a legal contract. Although I do pop-up events for my mates and stuff for other people in my free time.
But I think
Chefs
that's
are all
sort of.
crazy.
But I think that's kind of more the point. Not that you can't be with different people. Oh, I can't go and hang out with my guys at the pub and then hang out with people at work and stuff like that. It's because I have a lot of experience with not specifically guild, but mainly in FPS, first person shooter platoons for your things like Battlefield and
Dizzy.
DayZ and stuff like that. We've got our own servers and stuff, and we've got our own group. And I sort of agree and disagree to a point where if you're in a platoon or you're in a group, guild, clan, whatever you want to call it, let people do what they want to do. If they want to go off and join 70 different groups and be a member of 70 different groups, let them do it. Because you can't stop them. But second of all, you don't want to stop them doing that. If they're that kind of person where they can't commit to one group, then maybe they're better off going off and being with all of those people all that time. Whereas the people who are more
Loyal.
they prefer, yeah, well, not necessarily
Tell you what,
loyalty.
those people in 70 different groups, I bet they're not the officers, are they? You know, those people that flit around and can't commit, they're not the officers. It's
No.
the guys. It's the guys that are in your
No. You're
squad,
right.
and they
Yeah,
turn up day after day, and you're the one that they play with.
Yep.
That's loyalty.
That's right.
That's loyalty.
Yes, true.
Because
It is.
they have the choice.
Hold on, Trendane's has his hand.
Yeah.
I'm going to say neurotoxin, go.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
He's the one who got interrupted. So
Sorry, my bad. My bad.
I
Sorry.
was going to say,
Wasn't you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Sorry.
I've actually iterated twice on the subject. I wrote a smaller document about different groups and guilds and types and what they're actually able to do and be. And then I wrote a much larger one about much of a larger group that can be everything but doesn't have to be. So basically what I'm talking about, the first document I wrote was saying instead of every group being this everything group, that it's the adventurers guild, the trade union, your everything, you do everything in that one group, that the groups should be actually segmented, that if you're setting up a trade union or whatever, where you're doing all of your trade and your crafting, your mass purchase of materials through a group, that's one group that's completely different than your adventuring guild, which goes out in the world, fights things, discovers things, brings back trophies to adorn their fancy, whatever facility that they've got, get more claim flags to expand it, whatever they need to do. People that are specifically all about PvP, or maybe there's some sort of thieving mechanic from NPCs. So you've got a rogue's den of some sort, and all you're trying to do is go around to the various NPCs nobility in the world and steal their jewels off of them without killing them, and then you get some sort of bonus or achievement if you actually get out of the city alive and get to bring it back to the guild. So that sort of stuff could be done. Each different group doesn't have to do everything. They could be segmented in different things. So in order to have all the access to all the features, you would have to join or kind of annex groups together to be able to have access to all of those features. Now, in the second document I wrote, which is much larger, I actually have the idea of just being one group called the player organization. And other than its headquarters, all of the stuff that it does is stuff that you can modularly build into it. If you've got a shipping center, you can do trades and transactions over a distance. You can actually set up supply routes where you've got things that regular shipments of iron coming in, or you're sending out regular shipments of swords or something. This can be to NPCs. This can be to other players. If you have a place you can set up the war room that you use for setting up raids. It's got all sorts of maps, and you can use it to find out where there have been creatures in the area, large creatures that might be a threat. And if you've got the mail system, then once again you can get updates from other guilds in the region and their information, and be able to find about raid targets that way. So really being able to have the group organization doing all the different things that you'd want to be able to do, it's just each part of it you have to build up individually, and potentially even have a progression system where you have to do the thing more and more to actually progress. You actually have to raid in order to get up to, you got a commercial, Geekdomo.
sorry.
You have
Keep
to
talking. It's recording.
yeah, and now I got it. Actually get all the way up to the second tier of creatures. You have to slay a certain level of monster, or slay like 10 raid monsters successfully, and bring their trophies back, and that allows you to expand to the next level and get increased map radius, maybe increased detection of threats in the area, maybe even get a little bit of what's going on underground. And as you increase and progress that, you'll be able to find targets like way out in the world, epic dragons and stuff that you can build, your 200-person army, have this giant war room that's basically just a tavern at that point, giant tavern built into your headquarters, where everybody can see everything that's going on, get all their potions and equipment ready, and then when you're ready to go, you all go out. It doesn't have to be just people who are, it it doesn't have to be that everybody who's in the guild, all of your crafters and all of your harvesters and all of your PvP people are all part of this group. Some people could be a member of that player organization specifically for the raids, and then be a member of a different player organization for all the other business that they do.
All right, we're going to have to kick it into gear here. We got 15 minutes. We haven't even touched the questions yet. So why don't we get going with the questions?
Round.
Speed round.
Okay. Before that, real quick, I'm just going to talk about, we're not going to discuss it, just talk about the roundtable question. Okay. So Jake Stones gave us a blog post about what's going on, what tools need more usability. He's not talking about bug fixes, things that happen like weird voxels when you use the line tool. He's not talking about that. He's talking about user interface stuff, actually making it do the things that you want it to be able to do.
It's very annoying when you're trying to use the smooth tool and it skips to the other side of the thing you're working on.
Yeah, so he has 5 things listed: the line tool, selection tool, smooth tool, shaped blocks, and props. And they're all getting a lot of votes. It's really hard to say, they all need attention.
Yeah, they all do.
Everybody wants them all to be better. So I think this one's less about which tool to work on first and more about what we actually want and be able to pull discussion out of the community on what we want for the tools. Then there was the roundtable response, I believe is number 27, on the multiple starting areas. Now, what they were talking about is they want players to have some tie to their ancestral home, but they don't necessarily want players to have to start there. There will be some sort of a starting area, and the intent isn't to have lots of tutorials and hand-holding. It's just a place where you're going to start, you're going to be able to kind of learn about things, have lower threats for a little bit, but then easily be able to go out and branch out in the world and start finding things and discovering.
ZBrush would be great. Diane Ginalartes. Sorry.
And then there was the update notes that they posted for the recent update, and I'm just gonna give you the link for that here.
Yeah, that's pretty long.
It's got a lot of good stuff in it. So now moving on to the questions. Let's see.
And it's pronounced Diogenes.
Oh, Diogenes Ortiz?
Yeah, Laertes is a character from Hamlet as well.
It's Diogenes Laertes. Cool. ZBrush is a really great 3-dimensional modeling paintbrush.
It's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Speed mode. Dan Girth. Why do so many people on Twitch wear goofy hats, bald spots? We covered that one.
Yep.
Next one. Dan Girth. Why do people think about the hint a native Twitch support in Landmark? Well, they've got native Twitch support in PlanetSide 2, which is on the ForgeLight engine. I'm pretty sure it'll end up in Landmark. Anybody
and remember,
else?
this is also going to be on the PlayStation 4, so
Yep.
It's inevitable.
it's going to be
It
there.
sounds like it's going to be there. Sounds good. Next question. Diggs. Hey, Diggs. Thoughts on the new Storybrick subcontract? No idea. You guys?
I've never even heard of it yet.
Intrinsic Algorithm finished their subcontract work. Dave Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
As his company was subcontracted by Storybricks to work on some mathematical models for what they're doing for EverQuest Next. They finished the work that they're doing for Storybricks, so now their contract's over, and that doesn't affect anything.
But it means it's coming.
It's a good thing because it means they've successfully done what they were hired to do,
Good.
and the project is moving forward.
That is great.
Fantastic.
Great.
All right. Next
And
question.
Dave Mark's cool.
Yeah,
Follow
he
him on
is.
Twitter. He's
He's
funny.
a good guy. He's got some stuff to include in his GDC rant from a tweet that I sent at him about using Stanislavski's questions for actors in game design and AI design. So, Sci-Fi 99. Do you think that having the ability to buy resources devalues trading and gifting of resources between players? Yes and no. We beat that subject to death, and yet we barely scratched the surface. Do you guys want to talk about that one, or should we just move on?
Let's move on.
All right, move on. Chrono 120. What if they allow player NPCs to make auction houses for stuff like that for trading? That's actually a feature they're going to have, being able to have trading stalls and stuff. Already a confirmed feature. Next one. Shadow Spawn 2112. Question for Locke. How do you see the horizontal progression playing into Landmark when the game goes out of alpha?
How do I see it? How do I see it playing in? Oh God, I mean that's a huge question. I suppose you have tool progression, you have role progression, which is what I'm hoping for. You have as far as the core of horizontal progression, being able to do lots of things and being able to do that, all of those things, picking things to be better at than other people. I think it comes down to more how roles are going to work and how players organize themselves within the sandbox. So it's one of those things that hopefully will organically develop, and I just really hope that SOE have given us enough tools and enough reasons to specialize. I think that's important. That's the most important thing. If people have reasons to specialize, I think that that sort of horizontal progression will be a success.
I hope an axe that's good for chopping trees is also good for chopping skulls.
Very nice.
All right. Next question, Dan Girth. What do you think about your claims being open to attack by NPC monsters and animals? It would mean building defenses is necessary.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Or an iron golem is going to come through, and you're going to have that.
Well, I don't know if you're going to stop that pretty easily.
I'm not sure if that was in the context of EverQuest Next, or if that iron golem will actually be in Landmark. There will definitely. I'm more interested in what actually happens to the voxels if everything reheals after the creatures have done their thing and left, or if it stays in a permanently destroyed state until you come back through and use some sort of like rebuild version of the heal tool that puts everything back in its place, provided you have the materials.
That'd be good. Fixing to fix up a house after it been smashed by a iron.
Well, you can. So. I mean, I assume the system will be have you claim, template you claim, activate, NPCs can attack, or maybe you'll have your own NPCs that you can unleash on your own claim.
Yes,
and then
defense.
after everything's destroyed, you go, that was fun. Template, bam, it's back. Let's do it again.
Yeah. I think the iron golem smashing your house in is probably more of a threat in Next than Landmark.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Temporary props. Seen it on the forums. Any thoughts? Temporary props? Like Jaffa cakes that get eaten?
Consumables is a thing, I know.
But those aren't props. Those are items. Those are in your inventory.
I mean, if you could make a prop that disappeared after a certain amount of time, you could make a lot of interesting gameplay out of that.
Yeah.
Candles.
Candles, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or quest items you wanted to set up?
Yeah, quest items for time quests.
Yeah.
Maybe,
a half hour to go pick up this thing.
Maybe a capture the flag, that the flag disappeared after someone had been holding it for a certain amount of time, so you had to keep switching it back and forth between players. That could be interesting.
That could be good.
Yeah, so
Soap.
Cool. Soap.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
temporary prop.
There are some thoughts on temporary props.
Sci-Fi 99. The last one was from Gamer Tokatsu, by the way. So the next one, Sci-Fi 99. Question: will picks and gear be soulbound in Landmark, or will it be an EverQuest Next thing?
I don't think either.
I think it'll probably be free to trade, free to break it down, do whatever you want with it. It's just a pick. It's not this crazy magic thing you had to slay 10 dragons to create out of their teeth and hearts.
I think
Candle
it's one
props
of
are
those
incoming,
things, just the sort of foundation of design that they're building from. It doesn't really play into what makes BOP necessary. So it's very unlikely that it will be part of the game because of that. I'd be surprised if it was in there.
Daffiness question. So the SOE granted Prime Grappler as a status prop to those who received one in Alpha. I have one and I say no. That's one of those exclusivity items that people will be, kicking themselves and the whole fear of missing out if they don't get one.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already got stuff for buying the packs anyway. I mean, what's the Prime Grappler is just an extra
Fun
RNG thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you happen to be one of the people? I don't think it's not cool, is it?
Yeah. So
it's going to disappear anyway.
Yeah.
So
it is. Yeah. I'd rather have a cape. I'd rather have a special cape or something, but that's a different story.
Tabard.
That's how I feel just in life when I'm walking down the street.
Don't you wear cape lock?
I do.
It's cold enough out there.
I had the thought, and I was like, I can totally do that. Apart from on Poncho days, obviously.
Yeah, Poncho days.
All right.
Hey, Poncho's
So,
not.
Cyberwolf74, do you think they will add custom script animations to the game so you can create a working train or spinning helicopter blades? I really hope so, and I think that's some of the stuff that they really want to do too. It'll be considering the technical limitations and other things. Some of this stuff might only be possible with props,
Yeah,
so they're going
prop
to need
thing.
a streamlined way for us to put props in, but they'll also need to have some checks and balances so people aren't just throwing a pile of dildos in the game.
Action dildos.
Yeah, action
Suppose-
dildos. So that's
Maybe they could have like a set of animations that you could apply to a prop. So you could just say like, I want this prop to spin.
Well, they're
I
probably
know,
going to do that with the
maybe, okay.
wheels, like the water wheels they demonstrated and stuff. Will probably spin.
Yeah, so they exactly. So it's already in the game. They can already do it. Things like trains and stuff as well. I guess they're gonna have to have some sort of vehicle system, some sort of mount system. So
I want
I guess
Gary's.
that-
I basically want like Voxel Gary's mod, and like, not only am I a happy person, but there's millions of happy people to be like, oh hell yes.
yeah.
And it might not be initially, but give it 2 to 5 years when all the 32-bit systems have finally gone the way of E.T. the video game, and
Buried in a desert somewhere.
yeah, and we're finally
Oh, the
moved
nostalgia.
finally moved on to 64-bit only systems.
I had that
Everybody's
game.
able to play it. Wow.
I had it.
Did you send it in the recall?
No, I had it. I remember getting it for Christmas one year, and I played the hell out of it. Because back then I only had like 3 games, and ET was one of them, so I had to play it. It was terrible. But I was
like the old school.
I was in it, man. I was like totally into I'm ET, and I'm gonna walk around this blank screen and try to find what I'm supposed to find. I was trying to find Reese's peanut butter cup or Reese's Pieces. It was terrible. Anyway,
You ever seen that thing about ET being a Jedi? Someone.
Yeah.
Someone
was
that.
he?
That's
Pretty
funny.
Cool. Yeah.
That's pretty
ET's
cool.
a Jedi. It's
Okay.
legit.
We're
So
digressing. Okay.
Dan Girth, would you guys like to see subterranean claims, i.e., underground dwarf city?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen
It will
some already.
happen. I'm going to make a lot of money off of that. That's another subject for another time. Anybody else, or we got the next question?
Go ahead.
Next question.
It's
All right.
technical crap in it.
Yeah. Gamer Tokatsu. Did Stackus just get violated?
Yes. Next.
Okay.
No,
Zypher 720. Question.
I was
you
grabbing
guys-
a magazine in case Locke went on and on and on and on and on about that other thing. So he's not getting.
Is that the new
violated.
Star Wars?
No, this is like from November 23rd, 2012.
Oh, that's a little bit old, yeah.
Okay, so the question,
Right
do you
on.
think players will form their own governments? I'm trying to create a community group called Soviet Landmark right now, so I don't know.
Oh.
We'll see.
Commie bastard. You red hat.
We'll do.
wearing-
I know. What is the
No,
first Smeds blog, wasn't it? John Smedley talking about the sandbox. He made a particular point of talking about player organizations, and so yeah, I think that'll be.
I
a
think
big
they need
thing.
to
I think
take-
it'll feed into everything that Reese says about the way that player organizations could work and sort of work with each other instead, like as opposed to just being separate islands. I think will be a big part of the way that Next works.
Robert Space Industries, Cloud Imperium Games needs to take story bricks from EverQuest Next. EverQuest Next needs to take organizations from Star Citizen. If they could merge those two ideals from the two games, it would just make things amazing. The organizations in Star Citizen are just awesome.
Well, they haven't even started getting this stuff in for Landmark, so we have a long way to go
Yeah,
before we can
long-
actually
long
speak
way to
about
go.
these features. And
Yeah,
I'm sure they're aware of those sorts of things too. So
Yeah, the sandboxy nature of it means that players have to be able to interact to a higher degree and to interact with the world to a higher degree than in a lot of MMOs that we're used to playing. So I imagine it'll be at the top of a list somewhere. The top of the to-do list.
all right, so next question, Alawan Evermore. That's a name I haven't seen asking questions before. Do you think they're going to make props like probs or props like
Probably
Team
props.
Probs? Like Team Fortress?
Yeah,
I
Team
don't-
Fortress, you can make different
yes.
guns and stuff. Like you can make completely.
Answers yes.
Yes.
Player Studio.
Yeah.
Answers
Player Studio,
yes.
yep.
Next
Same
question.
with Dota 2 as well. Is
Yeah.
a bit similar.
It's a little harder in Dota too.
Another name I haven't seen before, Cento Gray. Command blocks for prompted sound effects, lights on and off, narrative elements that appear
Redstone.
in the text window.
Yeah.
I had talked about that sort of thing too. Being able to have like a prop window and prop management and that sort of stuff, and being able to have extra features and stuff that you can apply to a claim. So you open a door and the lights turn on, and the music starts playing, and the steaming steak dinner with the candles and everything appears on the table.
Oh yeah.
And then my NPC of my likeness walks in and starts putting the moves on you.
You want an NPC that looks like yourself to attack yourself?
No.
That's a little bit weird.
Different type of moves.
Okay.
Or you're covered in your invisibility cloak and walking down the hallway trying to avoid Filcher's cat, and the torches keep turning on anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks, Gamer Tosuku.
Next question. Alan Evermore. Water fountains. Yes.
Yes.
Now, water fountains that actually put out dynamic water that's attached to the dynamic water system, we won't know until dynamic water is in. I don't even think they'll know until dynamic water is in.
They didn't know about microvoxels until Cold Knight showed them.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing.
They don't even know what they're building over there.
They're just mashing code together.
Aloe and Evermore. Rainbows and being able to search for them / find awesome items or new resources at the end. On my live feature rant, I was telling somebody to make a rainbow out of voxels. I can't remember. Was that Shadow Spawn, I think I was asking? But yeah, that would be an interesting thing to have as one of many sorts of indicators of things in the world that you could use to find, maybe one end of it's got treasure and the other end of it's got death, and you're not sure which end it is.
That'd be fun. Yeah, definitely exploration-based things. There'll be things to go and search for out in the world for definite. Rainbows would be cool though. I like the duality of that. That's cool.
All right.
Races? Yes.
Yes.
What do you guys think about clothes getting dirty as you mine?
I think it'd be a fun feature that, over 5 minutes or so kind of shakes off and, you look normal. But while you're actually mining and doing that sort of stuff, stuff gets all over you. If you're
That'd be fun.
Working near a forge, like ash and stuff starts to get all on you. If you're in the snow, of course, you're getting snow particles and stuff on you, and then things start to get soggy for a little bit and then it goes away. That'd be lovely if they could put that level of detail in without it being too impactful or taking too much of the time and development process.
Yeah, I think the problem is if they have to start making 5 different versions of the same outfit. So if you have to have the outfit, the dirty outfit, the snowy outfit, the wet outfit, the sandy outfit, the slightly burnt, singed outfit, the ashy outfit. If they have to make loads of different versions of the same thing.
I don't think they do. I think it could be a layer.
It would probably would have to be layers.
Just a layer, yeah. Then if you wear the same outfit, but then it just has like an overlying layer that could be burnt, dirty, covered in goo.
Could be interesting, I guess.
Got stuck as attention.
So, Geekdomo, I just wanted to check in real quick. How much longer? Because we're getting more questions.
We got lots of questions now.
Okay.
Now you guys are all asking questions. We got 5 minutes.
All right, so let's seriously speed round it then.
Speed round, okay. 1 or 2 word answers. Let's go. Oh my god.
Curved buildings.
Yes. I saw Yamino build one the other day. Go.
Yep. Mario Ding. What should the major sources of currency? People say player crafted currency. People say non-player crafted currency. I like dynamite.
Dynamite's a good one. It's a lot of fun.
Just a massive flashing it depends from me.
We don't know yet.
Okay. Muggins TV. How will social media be built into the game? Simple links / images or feeds, etc. Well, Twitch is going to be built in, as we were talking about earlier. There might be other integration, being able to tweet something and have it go directly to your Twitter or Facebook or Imgur or whatever source you have.
One thing they haven't shown yet, or they talked about, they never actually showed it work, is the time-lapse thing. Remember, you're supposed to be able to build a time-lapse thing that's going to have a camera that watches you build, and you'll be able to tweet that directly from there to, like, Vine or something. And it never happened. I don't know what's going on with that. Felgon, answer. Quick. Go.
The works. I'm sure it's in the works. They have a long way to go with a lot of features, so I'm sure that it's on the table. They're just, they got a lot of stuff
all these things they're working on. Yeah, it's probably a back burner deal.
I want to more. What do you guys think about the death system? It's going to be like in Landmark. They said it's going to have teeth, and I think that's all they've said about it. So I don't know what that's going to mean. If that means losing some materials when you die, if that means your equipment gets a little damaged when you die, if it means you get kicked out of the area where you're finding awesome materials and half of the stuff you found in the past 5 minutes goes away. Who knows? They really haven't given any details. What do you guys think?
I think we're out of words. It was supposed to be 2 words. Felgon says it's on our list. It depends. Yes.
It totally depends. We haven't seen anything about item durability, if that's going to be a factor. You know, at the moment, the only thing they can really take away from us is like resources that we've gathered. So you know, that's probably quite a likely contender. You know, like Reese said as well, taking you out of the underground area and like plopping you back, you know, at the spire, the central thing or whatever. That could be a thing, you know, because when at the moment we're always on the surface, and it can be tedious to run across the length of a map. But if you have to go all the way down, you know, it's
all right. Next question.
These are good questions. You guys should ask them earlier.
What about alts? I didn't like hearing only 1, 2, and especially if there are more races. I don't know if there are going to be more races for a while. If there are, they'll probably unlock more character slots, but for right now, probably the 1.
Or you'll be able just to change your character race at any point.
Well, I think you should be. I think, you know, it should be something. It should be something that you can just do, because with the amount of different things that we can build, the amount of different things that they want us to build, I don't think it's reasonable for them to expect us to pay to change our name or pay to change our gender or race or anything like that, or have to make alts. I think we should just be able, in the same way that we can build whatever we want as part of the game, I think we should be able to look however we want as part of the game.
All right.
Okay. Kezstaff, we can change server very easy. They'll make server very different, like no monster, and more resource. I don't know that they're actually going to do that. They're all going to be difficult. If there's a place where you can't fight enemies because it's a no enemy zone, I have a feeling they're going to go with the route that you also can't collect materials there, and it's a build only area, or it's an area for players to make scripted stuff. I don't think there's going to be an easy mode server.
People always think that there's going to have to be a different area or a different server where you can use like sci-fi.
It's the old mindset
and stuff as well. Yeah. It's just no.
Right, moving on. Real quick, Francis, there's a ton of stuff coming, so don't give up on the game yet. It's coming.
All right. And we're going to have to cut off questions. We've got 2 more here.
We actually have to stop because we got to do our thing, close up before 2 hours. Sorry, everybody, but yeah. That's good. Okay, so real quick, go around the room. Tobrand, go. Tell us about your channel.
My name is Tobrand Irnwood. I have a YouTube channel on youtube.com/Tobrand Irnwood. I hit 1,000 subs that I give away a Trailblazer pack, so go do that. I have a weekly show called EQN Talk, where I round up all the weekly news, so you don't have to watch this 2-hour show, but you should watch it anyway, because it's good. I also do a weekly top 5, where I take my personal top 5 builds of the week and put them into one video to show off to everyone else. And that about wraps up.
Awesome.
Someone else, go.
Yay.
Go there, Mr. Locke.
Hello, I've got a YouTube channel, Lock 6 Time. I do a discussion show. I do a magazine / type show, sort of community focused. I've just started. I've put my first episode up of my guide for new players in Landmark. It's the best guide. The best guide.
Put a link up in the chat. No, seriously.
Well, maybe they can go to my channel and find it.
Okay.
I write a weekly column about EverQuest Next and Landmark for a website, what is called zam.com, and I do this.
That's right.
And yeah, that's what happens.
Oh yeah, I didn't put anybody's name on tonight. Oh my god, I just now noticed. Oh well, I'm sorry.
About it.
Stockus, you have a thing for the bearded warriors you could throw up?
Oh yeah, give me a second.
All right, do that while we're talking to Trendane. Go ahead, Trendane.
Yep.
I thought.
What? Oh, Reese?
I thought you were going to go around.
Well, we could go around that way. Okay. Go ahead, Legendary Neurotoxin, go.
All right. Yes, I am Legendary Neurotoxin here on Twitch on 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is right after the EQ Landmark live stream. I do my 1 hour live feature rant, and then sometimes I'll be able to do some other stuff after that. You can find me on Twitter at Legendary Neuro. Of course, here on Twitch, you can also find me on Steam, Legendary Space Neurotoxin. Not that hard to find. And go.
All right. Thanks, Stockus. Thanks, Bod. Sorry, Bod. I didn't forget you were in the audience. Go ahead there, Stockus.
Yes, Sergeant Stack is pretty much everywhere. Haven't got YouTube yet, but I've definitely got Twitch and I've got Twitter. Follow me on Twitter to get my notifications when I stream stuff. And you can catch me on with the Geekdomo in the landmarks.
Yeah, he hangs
stuff.
out. He hangs out with me all day long. It's awesome.
Touching stuff.
Touching
All
Voxels.
We're not going to touch our voxel nipples. No, we're not doing that. No more of that.
Actually, they're props.
Or voxel nipple props. All right, Trendane.
Trend. Oh,
Yeah,
Trendane
not there.
everywhere.
Sorry.
Trendane pretty much everywhere, but in all probability, and here's the bomb for the show. In all
Uh-oh. He's bombing us.
I'm bombing you guys. In all probability, since I'm falling way behind on all this stuff and everything, I'm probably going to take a hiatus from the show, so there will be an empty space here, or just rearrange everything and whatnot.
Well, next week it probably won't look as crappy as it does this week, but it's sad, Trendane. Take a break. Come back when we can murder monsters and take quests.
I said hiatus. I didn't say I was
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I understand completely. We'll miss you.
Yeah, whatever.
Wow.
We'll see. We'll see you over on Starcast because I know you're not doing that either.
No, for now I'm still doing that.
Okay, good.
I haven't lost any momentum on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in Houston. I was at CIG.
You actually have more momentum with it than I do.
Going with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. All right. Well, now I'm Geekdomo everywhere. We're going to be giving away EverQuest Next Landmark Trailblazer Pack tomorrow for subscribers. And if you guys are not subscribers and you're just followers, come on over anyway. We're going to be giving away a bunch of picks and toys and goodies and things in game. Almost all of them are donated to me, so I didn't make them myself. But either way, we're giving them away anyway. That will be tomorrow at 1800 GMT minus 5. So about an hour previous to this right now. So whatever time it is right now for you, 1 hour before, we'll be doing that giveaway. And that'll be right here on this channel. So thanks everybody for coming. Thanks everybody for following me tonight. And thanks for all the guys who were just annoying the crap out of me with the Mario sounds. I know you guys couldn't hear it, but it was ta-ting, ta-ting.
Shouldn't have mentioned it.
Yeah, it was funny. But now my email has like so-and-so followed you, then so-and-so unfollowed you, then so-and-so followed you. And so it's like 300 emails I got now.
I wonder if talking about it will help.
That'll make it better. Absolutely. Not. Thanks, Felgon, for being here tonight, and thanks, Omid, for being here tonight. Really appreciate you guys stopping by and giving us some inside tips and stuff. We'll be back again next Friday for yet another amazing episode of Into the Portal, and hopefully to be on the right channel. I'll work on getting this sorted out so it's on the right channel next week. So thanks for switching and coming over here tonight. All right. Here comes a bunch of people, Felgon and Cold Knight. Jeez, you guys. You guys are bad. You're like... whatever. All right, love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Be careless.